January 3rd. The Gators open their season November 3rd against Arizona. PGA Tour's FedEx Cup playoffs begin tomorrow with the FedEx St. Jude Classic in Memphis, Tennessee. Last year's champion was Hideki Matsuyama. It's 88 degrees at 2 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
That's right. The Jaguars are back out on the practice field today, and us Helmets and Heels, we're all out there watching Parker Washington and Brenton Strange have really good days, which also means that Trevor Lawrence had a really good day.
Yeah, Trev had a good day today. They bounced back, the offense. You know, they weren't very good the day before, but they came out. You could tell even on one-on-ones. I watched the DBs and the receivers again. It was a fun show to watch.
Yeah.
I tell you, I love the O-line, D-line, but I'm like gravitating to because I want to see Diami. I want to see Travis. You know, I want to see our DBs cover them. And it's today the offense got them, but you know they were pretty right there in coverage. But good throws, good catches. Overall, it was a pretty good day for the offense.
Yeah, I think I've always been a big secondary person. I love that room in general is my favorite to usually watch. And so I do think that when you've seen this camp, it's been fun because we've talked about the corners playing well, but then also the battles that are happening in the safety room have been fun. But Parker had a great day. It was some really good catches, sideline catches. You saw him kind of do a little bit of everything today. But to your point, Tommy, even in those moments, it's not like any of the DBs are getting burned in a sense. They're right there. It's just the wide receivers made some really good catches on that sticky coverage.
They were working on that corner route in the end zone. A lot of times they'll float it and jump, but it was more of a line drive and try to jump up and catch it. Diami against Tyson Campbell, the first one, it was great coverage. He caught it with one hand and got his feet down. It was pretty. I tell you, he's got really strong hands. He knows obviously how to get open, but he's got some because there was a couple contested catches where he had to come down. Parker too, they're right on top of him, but came away with it. Good ball placement by good timing by Trevor overall today. Hunter Long, keep that name. I tell you, he's going to be a weapon. Really I think they could use him in the red zone a little bit. And Brenton Strange did have another big day. So, yeah, overall, a good day for the offense.
And I think, too, we're getting to the point where Trevor's getting more comfortable. And so that's why when we first started training camp, we talked about, he's missing some throws. He's throwing a little bit late. I think there's just a lot going through his head. And I feel like maybe he started to turn the corner. That maybe happened after the scrimmage. Yeah, yesterday wasn't great. There was a lot of off timing-wise. But today it felt like here's a guy that now is a little bit more in command of the offense.
I think somebody lit a fire under the entire offense after yesterday's. It was just
Hopefully
it wasn't just Trevor. Right? I'm sure it came from maybe Trev helped reiterate it, but it just wasn't a good day overall. Like the receivers, Trevor, even the backups, it just wasn't a good day. They seemed kind of flat, seemed kind of not totally into it, but it just wasn't flowing like it did today. So, yeah, I think it was, and now the defense is probably going to get yelled at tonight.
Well, we don't expect tomorrow to be that physical of a practice, so I wouldn't expect much of that. But, yeah, Taylor and I were standing. I know, Tom, you were close, too.
Yeah.
Those receiver DB battles, that was some of the most fun that we've had at camp because it was just right in front of us instead of being on one of the farther fields. And watching Travis Hunter play DB, watching Travis Hunter play wide receiver today, and he's got his penny like we talked about yesterday, his customized penny. Yep. And I still am waiting for him to get tired. I'm still waiting for him not to look as smooth as a route runner or not to be as good as a corner. And every time I watch him, he still impresses me.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll see that in practice. I feel like you get a lot of break time still where you get to kind of just go to the sidelines and stand and you get your water breaks consistently. So I don't know really if we were seeing him get tired now, I'd be highly concerned about how the season would go. But it's fun to see him just kind of shift back and forth and what seems like being very comfortable. And I think that's one of the most important things to me right now is feeling like it doesn't feel like he looks lost. And there were some of the camps early on where when he was playing DB, he was getting kind of twisted up and there was some things happening where I was like, there looked like it wasn't as comfortable. And all of that is kind of starting to shake out in that form.
Yeah, I saw today they ran him 4 plays in a row on offense and then he flipped right over to defense and played another 4 plays. But that's what he's here for. Yeah. I mean, that's what you drafted him to be. and to be that, what did we hear? He's the number one defensive back in the draft. He's the number one receiver in the draft. And he's going to play both ways. So I like the fact that they're they're starting to do that, because if he's really going to play both ways, he's got to practice, playing both ways, and not just like you're saying, take a couple plays, take off, a couple plays, take off. So I'm glad to see that they're conditioning him in that kind of way, because that's how they're going to use him. I think it's going to be interesting how they use him. I almost I'm a little flip-floppy. Like I thought all offense and little defense. I kind of see a little more defense, but on offense more maybe in the red zone, like where you can really utilize his jumping ability, his catching ability. You're still going to use him in the middle field. I don't mean like just for the red zone, but I could see him playing a lot of D, and then a decent amount of off. Not this week, but during the regular season. But he's special. It's funny. I have people text me all the time. Tell me what's he really like. You're going to give it to me straight. Give it to me straight. I'm like, he's special. That's all I can tell you. He's a special individual. And I'm still not like he's just going to be like offensive, defensive rookie of the year type guy. I mean, I want to see more.
I think
but
that's
so
a bold
far,
statement.
no doubt. But what we've seen, I think special fits, right? I mean, he's quite the guy.
Do you think, because let's say we get into the season and this is going and he's playing well on both sides of the ball, do you think they will kind of dictate weekly which side they need him more on? If the offense is struggling one week and you're like, hey, we need Travis this week, or defensively is having a bad day, Jarian's having whatever the case may be, do you think it looks like that, or do you think they have a more set way of saying, okay, we want him on both sides no matter what?
I think it'll be set going in, and then it'll vary game to game.
Up,
you know what I mean? Because it depends how the other guys are playing on defense, and how bad they need them. I mean, if they're locking it down, and maybe we only need them at spot duty or a little bit, maybe on third down, maybe in the red zone or what have you. But
and if Parker Washington looks as good as he does in training camp on Sundays, then maybe Travis Hunter is not needed as many times,
that role,
as a receiver, especially if Brian Thomas Jr., who was out today with an illness, if De'Ami Brown are really stepping up too. And Brenton Strange, like we said, I mean, this is a guy that if you could mold a football player, Brenton Strange looks like a beast out there. And he had a one-handed catch today, which was really nice. And he can do it all. We know he can block. Like, he's not afraid of that dirty type of work. And so that is going to be the fascinating thing. If the corners are all playing well, and like we talked about yesterday with Aaron Beasley, if the corner or if the secondary is playing well and we want them to be consistent, if the coaches want them to be consistent, then do you take him off the field, like a Jarian Jones off the field, to put Travis Hunter on? And trust me, I'm not saying that Travis Hunter just isn't going to play. These receivers are so good in the secondary.
If everything's going well, he'll just be on the sideline.
Right, like that's not going to happen. But I don't think that he's going to be expected to play 70% of the snaps on both sides. At least to start.
I don't either.
And think about it, like we were talking yesterday with the politics of the game. I mean, everybody knows what they gave up to move up. It was a bold move, and you said he can play both ways. So guess what? He's got to play both ways. I'm not for me. I could care less. Just win. I honestly, if he just scored touchdowns, that'd be good. Like I don't need him to play both ways. But you did what you did, so everyone's gonna be like, well, wait a minute. You gave up a lot to get him on both sides of the field, and now you're not, you know what I mean? So they're going to have to play him. And I think he's capable of it. The only thing I want to see is the rigors of the physicality of it. The jams, the tackling, all that. I know he can run for days. It's just that physicality. And, so far, so good. So
what if in the first game he catches the first touchdown pass and he has like an interception? I'm not going to say a pick six, but what if in the very first game he had literally the first touchdown for the Jaguars and he went out and got a pick?
He would be leading the offense and defensive rookie of the year award. So
and I would tell you, nationally, people would probably be like, it's the Panthers. Okay, cool. But here you'd be pumped. You'd be like, heck yeah, let's go. And you would want to see, and that's what I think people are going to be excited no matter what, because Travis Hunter is one of those type of players. You talk about the word special. That's part of what it is. But he's also just exciting. He's happy and he's smiling. He has that personality that people are drawn to. And he's always moving around. And so that side is already fun. And then you're throwing in the fact that he's playing on both sides of the ball. So that adds another level of excitement. People want to see it. And I think everybody's asking the question, like, can he do it for like, hey, here's game one, game two. can he do this for an entire season? Is it manageable to keep your body healthy and going and have that energy in week 17? So that is what I think is going to be fascinating to see if he can do, because I've talked to Coach Campo, and Coach Campo said a lot, like a lot of rookies, they're going pretty much. They haven't stopped since before last year, before football started last year, with the Senior Bowl, with Combine, with draft, with minicamp. A lot of rookies hit a wall, and if Travis Hunter is playing both sides, does that wall hit earlier? Is he able to avoid that? Some of those things I think are what's going to be fascinating to watch with him.
Yeah. I think you play him both ways until he can't, and eventually you're not going to care like that if he goes both ways or not. You just be like, all right, he's a great player.
He can. We've showed it.
Win. Yeah, we're good. We're year 4 or 5. We're like, we don't care. Good. Let him score touchdowns or let him just be a defensive back, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, even if the Jaguars played him only at wide receiver this year, if he had a year similar to Brian Thomas Jr. last year, that's still worth moving up to get him.
Yeah, in our book. But, they get hammered if he didn't play defensive back.
Of course
that's part of
and again, I think he's going to play. We've seen it literally in practice the last 2 days. We've seen him do something that we have never seen anyone else do, and sometimes I have to pinch myself that it's here in Jacksonville, that we are the ones who get to see him with these groundbreaking moves. And look, Travis Hunter today, when you mentioned, Tom, he and De'Ami Brown had the one-on-one together in the end zone, the red zone, and they both hit the ground. It was an incomplete catch. And I wanted to see, does Travis pick up De'Ami? Does De'Ami pick up Travis? Are they friends, because they are receivers together, but right now they're battling against each other. But yeah, they picked each other up, said good job and moved along.
I was right in front of that route. I thought De'Ami should have went inside and he might have had him. He might have, because that was a long developing route.
Yeah.
See, I don't know if they'll have enough time to get that ball off, but he was right there. I mean, you could just tell he's a great defender, Travis Hunter, and we know what he's done on the offensive side.
For sure. All right, on the other side, we will check in with Brooke Pryor of ESPN, talk a little Jaguars Steelers as the Steelers do come to town this Saturday night for the first preseason game. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010X on 92.5 FM.
Hayes Carline is our special agent. He goes into the locker room to uncover insights about your favorite football team. His mission is to bring it back to you on 1010XL. Special ops support by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnik Buick GMC is proud to be the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Earned by treating customers with courtesy, respect, and fairness. All part of Nimnik's Treating You Right guarantee. The most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer. Nobody but Nimnik. For 3 generations, Nimnik has been the place customers keep coming back to. They treat you right, and they give a bunch back to the community. Visit NimnikBuickGMC.com today to learn more, or visit their showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
Your doctor says your testosterone is normal. Normal for who? Beta males? That's where those lab ranges come from. Male Excel uses optimal levels, where you were at 25, not where outdated mainstream medicine thinks you should be. Our protocol is different. Daily dosing, multiple hormones, personalized to your body, not some insurance company's spreadsheet. This is precision medicine, not sick care. Try MaleExcel.com, free test. Stop being normal. Start being optimal.
After 3 years, the Hacker Fantasy League is back here in 2025. Thursday night, August the 21st at Twin Peaks on Atlantic and Kernan, the HFL is back. Be listening to Hacker After Dark for your chance to enter.
Finding the right plumber to reline your cast iron pipes doesn't have to be a stressful experience. When you hire Superior Plumbing and Pipelining, you can rest assured you're getting the best in the industry. At Superior Plumbing and Pipelining, we're so confident in our work that we encourage you to get multiple estimates. Look at each company's reviews and check the scope of their pipelining work to make sure it's what you're expecting. But at the end of the day, make the superior choice. Superior Plumbing and Pipelining. Request a free estimate at superiorplumbingjacks.com.
Hey, fellow Floridians. We're the Wombles.
We're retirees with 5 grandkids.
And huge fans of natural gas. When the kiddos visit from Ohio, we go through towels like pool water. That's why we love our natural gas dryer. It dries in a jiff.
So we use less energy and save money, too.
Yep.
Now earn up to a $300 cashback rebate when you install a new energy-efficient natural gas dryer. To learn more, go to peoplesgas.com/rebates.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Hacker here. You know, those of you that have listened to me for years realize that I used to do a lot of different weight loss things, a lot of different things that I tried that just never worked for one reason or the other. And then Awaken 180 Weight Loss came along, and I heard Mike Dempsey and Matt Hayes talking about it, and I thought, you know what? What the heck? What do I have to lose? I'm going to give it a try. I had low expectations, to be honest, based on previous history, but I learned very quickly that Awaken 180 Weight Loss is the best weight loss program I was ever on. I dropped 19 pounds my first 2 weeks on Awaken 180 Weight Loss, went on to lose over 100 pounds total. I'm keeping the weight off with the Awaken 180 Weight Loss Maintenance Program. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, without a shadow of a doubt, is the best weight loss program I have ever been on, and the results speak for themselves. If it's time for you to lose some weight like it was for me, go to awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. You can do it. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Football season is here, so I've got to get organized. Lauren Brooks here. Closets by Design creates custom storage for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms or entertainment centers, wherever that clutter has taken over. Call today to schedule a free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off with free installation. Yes, that's 40% off plus an additional 15% off this month only. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Taylor, Dalton, McManus, RJ Sunners. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Brooke Pryor was now set to join us on Friday. Not feeling so hot up there in Pittsburgh, so she will join us in a couple days and talk all things Steelers-Jaguars in that first preseason game. But the Jaguars do take on a Steelers team that I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to play. So, Taylor, you'll be spared from having to watch him.
Yeah, I'll still boo him when they show him.
Yeah, you're still welcome to boo him by all means. But I don't think he's going to play. Like I said yesterday, my gut is that the Jaguars starters will play a series, maybe two, unless between now and Saturday night, Liam Cohen decides that he's seen enough from his team. We'll see on that side of things. But this is a talented Steelers defense for sure.
Yeah, we were just talking about that a little off air. Real quick, Brooke Pryor, speaking of Brooke Pryor, she tweeted earlier that Aaron Rodgers says he doesn't think it's the plan for him to play against Jacksonville in the first preseason game on Saturday, but he's happy to play if that's what Mike Tomlin wants. I think that's hilarious because he hasn't played a preseason game in 7 years or something like that.
20 years.
Yeah.
I want to see Trevor. First of all, you got to play the O-line because you're still evaluating. There's no way you can't play your starting offensive line. I don't know how you evaluate him. I could kind of see Liam not playing Trevor.
Okay.
Trevor's had aside from yesterday, the 2 days before he was good. Yesterday he was good. He might feel good about where he's at right now. And with uncertainty in the line, you know what I mean? Last thing you want is, some backup defensive end trying to make a name for himself, comes up and cleans his clock and because you can't block him up. So you may have to factor that in a a bit. And he's looked good.
Sorry,
so
Nick Mullins.
Sorry, Nick and John. You guys can handle the line.
That's what backups do. I'm sorry. You're not the star, right? The star
it's the best position in the NFL backup quarterback other than the preseason when you get to play.
Yeah, but they love playing because they get to compete.
And that's how they get eyes on them.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
they believe that they deserve to be a starter somewhere.
Yeah.
Backup quarterbacks always think that the sky's still the limit for them.
That's right. No, they love the preseason. But you might now if he was struggling, I'd probably want to see him more if I was the coach. But I think after today's practice, especially, you probably feel pretty good in his progression from where he started with him, working on the footwork, getting it out. He hasn't been perfect, but he's been a lot better, in my opinion. I heard the boys, and I respect everybody's opinion on the station. They didn't feel like he's had that great of a camp. I think early on it wasn't that great, but lately, aside from yesterday, he's had a pretty good camp, I think. I think I've seen difference in his timing, his delivery, where he's placing the ball.
Yep.
It's coming out quick, so that means the footwork is right. And it's not coming out, it's going in the right spot. So that means he's driving the ball into the right spot. So, I mean, look, he's still got a lot to prove, no doubt. But I think from what we've seen early on till now, I would feel pretty good about him as a QB and his progression in my offense if I'm Liam and Grant and company.
And if Brian Thomas Jr. isn't feeling so hot, and because he was ill today, if he's not out there, you're not sure about your line. Maybe you're not going to play Travis Hunter on Saturday night. Now you're talking about a lot of the guys that normally Trevor's surrounded by aren't playing. And you're talking about if the Steelers do play any of their talented defensive, whether it's their front, their linebackers.
Right.
That just scares me because if Trevor were to go down in this preseason game or any of the preseason games, you're in serious trouble.
Yeah, I'm actually, when you think about or talking about the Steelers, they drafted Derek Harmon this year, and he is somebody that I liked a lot coming into the draft.
Big dude.
So I hope for just watching sake that he does play, because I would like to see a little bit of Derek Harmon, and that's what you kind of hope. In games like this, you just kind of have to look for the guys that, whether it's a competition on either side or a rookie that you would like to see play, that's somebody, but that guy's coming off the edge, and if he looks anything like he did in college, then that's just another addition
and
to
Harmon
the
can play inside too. He's 6'6", like 310. He's a big guy. I liked him too. I want to see Jack Sawyer.
Yeah,
the kid out of Ohio State. I was telling Lauren, I was watching this little clip of Pittsburgh, and it was T.J. Watt, Highsmith, Hertwig, who had 5.5 sacks last year as a rookie, and then Jack Sawyer. Like, that's pretty good foursome right there. I mean, they look pretty darn good. So I doubt Highsmith and Watt will play. Right? Maybe Highsmith.
Cam Hayward wouldn't.
Cam Hayward, I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
I mean, Patrick Queen, you might want to hold off on him. The younger guys you'll play.
I'm guessing Jalen won't be playing.
Yeah, Jalen probably won't play.
Jalen
Joey Porter Jr. has been held out with an injury recently too.
Darius Slay probably not going to play.
Yeah, so I don't think that we'll be locked into a quarter even of ones-on-ones by any means.
Right.
But at the same time, again, this is Liam Cohen's first time. Yes, he had the mock game, but that was his own team going against each other.
Yeah.
Now he has a team going against a team led by Mike Tomlin. I think it's good for Liam to have it in his house first, his comfort level being at home before the Jags go on the road for the next 2 preseason games. And while they don't count, it still is the important dress rehearsal for Liam to get to lead this team and to be smart on the sidelines.
Well,
and to Tommy's point, there's still some battles that we're looking at too, especially on that offensive line. So I do think I also hope we're seeing those guys out there because, and even if it's the backup defensive line for the Steelers, I think that's still important to get those guys out there and start getting reps together and see what you have. Because to me right now, there are a lot of question marks still, and you have to start hammering out some things so we can get some consistency and get that cohesiveness or try and figure out some cohesiveness with that line. And so I do hope that at least we see that out there, no matter whether the Steelers are playing their starters or not.
Yeah, I think with the line, I was actually saying earlier on my training camp report, like I think the interior 3 are set. And I think Chuma Doga is the right guard. And I think Ezra's our left guard. And I think he's great. And I think Hainsey obviously will be the center. They're moving the other guys around in those tackle spots. So I don't care who's out there. I agree with you, Taylor. You got to play the O-line.
Yeah.
They need the work. They need the work. After a while, you kind of get used to your own guys. You know what they can do. You know their moves.
Right.
Listen, there's some brother-in-law going, by the way, you can't hear it, but they're like lining up. They're like, all right, man, let's not go too, I'll let, let's not go full, it happens, and then they only do so much. So, but this is game time. They're going to have to up the ante. And if I'm Liam, I want to see. Every coach wants this first game, no mistakes, right? And no false starts. Line up the right way. Be on time. Know what if you're third punt team, fifth, know what position you're in. Get the play call in. Get it off on time. No delay. Those are the things you really want to see. But you also want to see that. Yeah, I see a vision. Like if we came out and ran the heck on, I don't care if it's first team or second team, be like, okay, I feel good about our running game.
Yeah.
If they stuff us and we don't do anything, then we'll be like, I'm not as excited about the running game.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's bad for the rest of the year, but just for that period of time and where we're at in camp, you'd be like, I was expecting a lot different. So
especially if it is their 2s or 3s and you can't run against that, then you would have concerns.
Well, listen, and I know it matters. I was a second teamer. It matters. I know what the difference is. And the everyone got the scrimmage was this, it was this. Well, it was a lot 1s versus 2s. And now 1s versus 1s was fine.
2, by the way.
Yeah, a little bit.
So
actually, I saw more 2s than 3s today.
Yeah.
It felt like. You know what I mean? Getting a lot of
That's what
work.
made me a little concerned when I was like, oh, the offense had a good day. And then I was like, but a lot of times today we did see the 1s going against the 2s.
Yeah.
Like the 1s on offense, the 2s on defense. I was like, are we just trying to get the offense in a rhythm? But yeah, even if the starters end up playing for the Jaguars Saturday night and it is the Steelers backups, you can't feel that good about it one way or the other.
Yeah.
I think Pittsburgh-wise, too, their offensive line, their right guard, their right tackle, and their center, they all drafted last year. So last year they allowed 50 sacks between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. And so now you have a quarterback in Aaron Rodgers who, yes, we talked yesterday, can move when you need him to, but he also can't move the way he used to be able to move. And if you don't protect Aaron Rodgers, I don't know how well that's going to go for him.
Yep.
And so they have those 3 young guys, and then they used a very high pick on Broderick Jones 2 years ago.
That's right.
So 4 of their 5 offensive linemen have all been drafted in the last 2 years, and last year didn't look very well. So I think for them, that's something also for us to keep an eye out in reverse. Like, are the defensive line, whoever's out there, you're going against a lot of young guys. Can you take advantage of some of those and get some pass rush from inside, from outside, from, since we want to talk about sending guys, all of that stuff. So that'll be fun to kind of watch too, to see what Coach Camp cooks up in that sense with, you have an offensive line you can take advantage of.
It feels like the Steelers are the organization that always drafts a defensive lineman, always drafts an offensive lineman, always drafts a rush outside backer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or
they got Caleb Johnson this year.
Yeah,
It works for them.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, well, obviously we know what happens up front.
It works regular season for them.
We'd feel, look, if we felt better about our O-line right now, we'd feel really darn good about this team, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
I think, then all of our energy, as far as the concern, would be focused on the interior of the defensive line.
Yeah.
And we'd be scouring the waiver wires, wondering if there's a guy out there that the Jaguars could possibly pick up or, that's still left in free agency. I would like to see if the Steelers are going to play any of their starters. Wouldn't it be fun to see Tyson Campbell going up against DK Metcalf?
Oh, yeah.
Even if Mason Rudolph is throwing the football?
Yeah, I don't care who's throwing. I
Or
think
Travis Hunter going up against DK Metcalf. Whatever, or Robert Woods.
Yeah, DK Metcalf, if you want to talk about a large human being, he's one of those. So if you want to say, like, all these people that are commenting on Travis Hunter and him, the big guys that he's going to have to go against and tackle, DK's one of those. So, and obviously the preseason, I don't know if we'll see that, but that would have been a fun one to watch.
You'd wonder. I mean, look, Rodgers is so old, DK's a vet. They don't really need to be out there, but it's a new connection.
Yeah.
And he just got there, so you might want to play him a little bit. I hope they play him a little bit.
Me too.
And I'm not a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. I know you can't stand him, and I can't stand him off the field, but on the field, I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the history of the game. I think he's going to be a little bit better this year. He's 2 years removed from the Achilles. He can still whip the rock. They got to protect him and run the football, but I'd like to see him out there, see what he could do. I doubt we'll see too much of him if he does go out there. But again, it's a brand new, everything for him. It's not like he's had a full off season with them.
No.
He's had some, but maybe you'd see him out there. I know a lot of people probably at least want to see Aaron out there throwing the ball around, you know.
We'll see that during warm-ups, I would imagine, and then I don't expect him to play a single snap Saturday night.
I've heard him and DK have had some issues too, like their connection's not there yet, and everybody's saying the same thing as you say, is the offense is going to be behind the defense. He also showed up a little later, and so they're trying to get that connection too. Aaron Rodgers is one of those people that loves his guys, and he's had his guys wherever he's been when it comes to an Alan Lazard or Randall Cobb or, Devontae Adams. Those guys have always kind of been around. And so this is the first time that we're really seeing him without those one of his kind of comforts in the room. And so it'll
comfort blankets.
Blankets. And so I do think it will be interesting to see what this looks like and how quick those connections do go with a Robert Woods or a DK Metcalf.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, look at Robert Woods up there in age a little bit, but can be productive. DK is just an absolute beast. And again, if they can get some things going on the ground game, they could be interesting. Look, I've always liked Tom. It's funny. One of my best buds down here is Greg Conley from Pitt, big Steeler fan. He's like, we like him too, but he doesn't win enough big games, big chance, the playoffs, like 8-8's great or 9-8's fine, but we want more. And I get it because you've won a bunch of Super Bowls. You do want more. I know for us in the last, if we had 9-8 or 8-8 the last 6-7 years, we'd be like, pretty darn good.
Yeah.
We'd be pretty happy with that, with hopefully an occasional run in the playoffs. But Pittsburgh's always been just a tough physical team, kind of blue-collar team, and I think the owners wanted it that way.
Yeah.
You go back to like Noel. He was a hard-ass. Cowher, hard-ass. Tomlin, hard-ass. That's what they like. That's how they want their teams run, and you can see it in the way who they hire and the players, too. They always seem to grab the right players for Pittsburgh, whatever that is, whatever that culture is, you know what I mean? They always seem to grab those players that fit that mold.
And it's always funny, too, because they get those, and then the players will, go elsewhere and get crazy. And it's whatever they do in Pittsburgh controls, keeps these guys, kind of in bounds and kind of you feel like and they respect everything. They respect that organization and what Mike Tomlin does. And then sometimes it gets a little haywire once they're out of that organization. So that shows how well it's run.
Yeah, it's all credit to the GM.
Yeah.
Omar Khan. And hopefully that's what the Jaguars have here now with James Gladstone, is finding players that are good football players, but also they are going to fit into the culture that Liam Cohen's creating. When Liam said yesterday, like, oh yeah, I've been texting with Mike Tomlin, I was like, I wonder did he already have his number, or is it like once you become a head coach, do you get like the directory of
black book?
Yeah, exactly. Like hey, Coach Tomlin, this is Liam Cohen, and Coach Tomlin's like, who?
Yeah, hold on. It is funny. It is funny to think though that the Jags have more playoff wins in the last 10 years than the Steelers do.
Yeah, no, right. Yeah, I think out of 17 years, they got 4 appearances. Something.
Yeah,
like that.
it's 3 playoff wins in the last 10 years, and obviously the Jags have more than that. So
and thanks to one of those being in 2017 against the Steelers up there in Pittsburgh. All right, when we come back, Tommy has his takeaways. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Joint replacement surgery is always a tough decision, but relief from chronic pain may be just around the corner. Dr. George Barber here, and there's a lot to consider to make sure you get the proper diagnosis and best path back to the range of motion and mobility you had. Age, lifestyle, and overall health all play a part. Let the team at Barber Orthopedics give you a full analysis to help you make the best decision. Log on to BarberOrthopedics.com or call the office to make an appointment. With offices across Jacksonville and ready to help you feel good again, we'll get you back on the road to recovery at Barber Orthopedics.
Hey guys, Taylor Dahl here of Helmets and Heels. It's the little things like a peach milkshake on a warm day that makes summer sweet. And now you can head to your local Chick-fil-A and enjoy a favorite summer treat again. Hand-spun the old-fashioned way, their refreshing milkshake features Chick-fil-A ice cream and peaches. It's the perfect cold treat to enjoy outside on a warm day or with friends and family after dinner. And it's here for just a limited time, so swing by your local Chick-fil-A and treat yourself today.
Tailgaters parking season passes are on sale now. Secure your Jaguar season parking today. Enjoy indoor restrooms, a full-service bar and grill, access 4 hours before kickoff. Visit tailgatorsparking.com and book your space today.
Got a clogged drain that just won't quit? It's time to bring in the pros. Duck Duck Rooter.
I called Duck Duck Rooter for a clogged kitchen drain. They showed up fast and had it cleared in no time. No mess, no stress.
We've seen it all. Grease clogs, hairballs, mystery goo from the deep. Whatever's blocking your pipes, we'll get it flowing again. Call 904-862-6769 now to schedule your drain cleaning service. That's 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the duck.
Looking to elevate your game night experience? Look no further than Best Bet. We're not just a card room, we're your destination for excitement, fun, and big wins. Whether you're a seasoned player or new to the game, we have something for everyone. Join us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine for thrilling tournaments, exciting promotions, and a vibrant atmosphere that will take your game night to the next level. Elevate your game night at Best Bet. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Jax is more than a city, beaches, suburbs, or a destination. We're a community that takes care of each other. I'm former Jaguar Tom McManus. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling is dedicated to serving you with respect and integrity. We haul construction debris or property cleanouts for managers, owners, and realtors. We do it all. Call 506-1256 for your free estimate today. We're here for you. We're veteran-owned and operated. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling.
Experience the Jacksonville Rock Orchestra as they bring to life the legendary sound of Journey.
Took the midnight train going anywhere.
Feel the power of Faithfully. Rock out to Wheel in the Sky and sing every word of Don't Stop Believing. Friday, August 8th at the historic Florida Theater. One epic night of the Jacksonville Rock Orchestra featuring Journey. Get your tickets at floridatheater.com.
Mike Dempsey for Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacksonville Beach. If your roof's got any damage, if it leaks, if it's just old and ugly, call my friends at Apex Roofing. But Mike, roofs are so expensive. It's true, quality roofing is not cheap, but Apex Roofing has up to 100% financing available, so you don't have to compromise quality for budget. Apex Roofing, no shortcuts, no stress, just quality work with financing available. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach. ApexRoofingFL.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
listeners. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. I always like to wait till the lyrics begin. Before I start talking, like if it's Lainey Wilson or Riley Green or Ella Langley, whoever is singing, I feel like we need some lyrics.
Yeah, you need to hear the voice.
Yes, I need a little voice in my life. And lyrics, absolutely. All right, Tom, take it away.
Now,
okay, it's go time.
Tommy's Takeaways. Jacked up by J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling. Call 506-1256 for your free estimate today. We are here for you. Veteran owned and operated.
All right, my takeaways for today are centered around our wide receiver room. I'll tell you guys, I'm really liking the wide receiver room. Now, of course, we got the top three with De'Ami Brown and, of course, Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr., right? But I'm telling you right now, Joshua Cephas has stood out. He's had a great camp. Parker Washington's had a great camp. The tight ends, I'm liking Hunter Long a lot. I'm liking Brenton Strange. I tell you, when you look at the wide receiving core, I don't know who number 6 is going to be, but I like the top 5 receivers, and I like those 2 tight ends and the backs out of the backfield. I think as far as our weapons go on offense, they're A-rated. I'm telling you right now. Now, if we can get it all together, Trevor puts it all together consistently, we could have a lot of numbers with this offensive group. And that is my takeaway from today. Good job by the Jags putting it all together. Brought to you by our friends at J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling.
Yeah, I heard Mark Duffner on with XL Primetime earlier, and obviously longtime coach in the NFL and in college football. And when talking about the receiving core here, he said, I don't know that there are teams with a better 3, like 1 through 3, than those 3 guys out there. And obviously, like you said, Parker Washington, Brenton Strange, Josh Cephas has had a fantastic camp.
He has.
They've all looked really good.
Yep.
But those 3, good luck double covering one of them because you've got the other 2.
Yep. And we're still, the connection, the chemistry with Brian Thomas Jr. Not totally there yet. We saw some glimpses of it the past. Now, he wasn't out there today because he had an illness, but maybe before the bad practice yesterday, but he's been kind of showing like he had a couple drops early in camp. You're kind of like, man, he keeps dropping, but then it started to come together. I think that chemistry's come together. And when that does pop, that's going to be something pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I think that it's definitely a positive. And when we've went through this whole offseason and we've ranked, the comfortability, especially since after the draft, the comfortability of the certain rooms, the wide receiver room is pretty high for a lot of people.
Yep.
And that is, you are putting some expectations and some hope into some of that because you need to see the Travis Hunter part play out. You need De'Ami Brown last year to not just have a postseason. You need him throughout the whole season, which he hasn't done so far in his career. And so there are some things that you're kind of projecting and hoping that things click. BTJ is one we know. Like that's a check mark and you're checking that box no matter what because you've already seen it last year now. And again, you do want to see it with Trevor because you saw it more so later in the season. And so you want that connection to start clicking. But I do think it's one of the rooms where you are more confident in, especially with the play calling also, because I do think that Liam Cohen's play calling in general will be better to fit the strengths of each of those guys. And we talked about all of the changes with Trevor too. So I do think those things alone that help that room a lot.
That corner route to Parker in the end zone was beautiful. I mean, that was on timing. That wasn't throwing to the man. That was throwing into a spot, and Parker got there at the right time, feet down. I mean, it was just a thing of beauty, man. So you're seeing some of those things starting to come together.
And he held on to the ball too, which is important because Dewey, that this defense, like we've talked about, they are taught until the play is completely
Dewey
over.
was fighting for a bit to get that ball out.
Yeah. And we saw another play where Daniel Thomas, I don't remember the receiver, but Daniel Thomas was going up against someone in the red zone, and the ball ended up bouncing off of Daniel Thomas and then also the receiver's hands, and then it hit the ground, and DT is like, dang, I should have caught that. Like, dang it. And I love that. Like, again, I'm sure every defense in the history of the NFL has been taught think takeaways like this team has, their mantra was a couple of years ago. But it really feels like this defensive coaching staff is hammering that into their brains because they literally are not giving up until, like I said, it's completely over.
I'm telling you right now, you can see with Campanella, there's not going to be like you can't make mistakes in this defense. He's not going to tolerate it. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be out there. So I think that's the biggest thing we're going to see out of this defense. And look, the secondary and the receivers, they've been battling all camp. I tell you, if you want to look at a fun thing to watch them, not just one-on-ones, just throughout the entire camp. It's been good for the receivers and the DBs, kind of back and forth. So they're just strengthening each other. But I tell you what, that's been a really good thing in camp, at least from what I've seen.
And like we talked about with Aaron Beasley, sorry, Taylor, yesterday, like going up against Jimmy Smith in practice, that's going to make you a better corner.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that when we're talking about both, like the finishing plays is a big thing too, especially defensively, because there were so many times last year where you just felt like tackles weren't completed, or when it was almost a sack. Even a couple years ago when we were like, oh, well, they had so many pressures, they just didn't turn those into sacks, because you're not finishing the plays. And that is what we're seeing out of Coach Camp's defense right now, is no matter what, everything's getting finished on all three levels of that defense. And I think that's a positive thing. And a lot of that too is that accountability and that respecting what Coach Camp's defense is built around.
And on the other side, the running backs are making it to hold it. Because think about last year, like even the Tanks fumbles, they were down the field. They weren't like at the line of scrimmage getting hit when he got the ball. He's running through the line and they're punching it out, or he's breaking away and punching it out. But you can tell they're really, other than that one where Jarian got Etienne, remember, it felt like it was over. But in the mindset, you got to say it's never over, that he's coming. And you haven't seen it happen too much since then. But the defense, man, they're and you can hear Campanella yelling, knock the ball out, punch it out. So it's got to be like that's like that creature habit thing, right? Then it becomes second nature. Then you're always looking to get that ball out.
Right, and it's really good practice for the running backs, the receivers, the tight ends. Like every time the ball comes out, to me, it's great for the defense, obviously, but it's also a good reminder to these guys. Like, that's what every single NFL defensive player is out there to do. It is to get, it's not just to tackle you, it is to steal the ball from you. And that's why some teams had, how many did the Eagles, or whoever led the league last year in takeaways?
I think it was the Broncos.
Broncos with like 40-something.
Good.
Yeah, I think it was.
They had a
maybe
great defense.
Maybe they were sacks. They led in something. I can't remember which one, though.
I saw where Zach Allen just got paid, Boston College grad. He went from Arizona to Denver, went from outside edge to inside, and had 8.5 sacks last year. Big contract.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they got it going on. And Denver's going to be a tough out, man. I thought when they first come out, we could beat Denver. Then you look at them a little bit more. Now, granted, Bo Nix, we'll see year 2 what he can do. But, man, Peyton's feeling pretty good about his team, and they do have a pretty strong defense. So.
Yeah, I think it's Steelers and Vikings, it says, had 33. Forced 33 turnovers with their opponents. I think maybe Denver was the sacks. I think they led the league in sacks. But that is that type of defense that you'll see there, are the ones that are just, which Philly can do both. Philly gets the turnovers, Philly gets the sacks. Ravens, I feel like, have that same kind of mantra where it's just do everything right. But let's start with those takeaways, because I feel like that, in addition to when we talk about that turnover ratio in general, winning that battle, but also the momentum shift when something like that happens, going back to 2022 and thinking about the Dallas game when Rayshawn got that pick, and how quickly that just feels like it flips everything.
Right.
Yeah, it's the momentum in the stadium, and then if you're on the road, it silences the opposing
Just
crowd.
go back to the first game last year. We're winning, we're driving, and fumble, and then they throw a bomb, and it's like, what happened?
Yeah, how did this switch?
All of a sudden, like, we're down, and it's over. Like, it can happen like that. So, yeah, they're making an emphasis on that ball security, and on the other side, hey, man, it changed. Turnovers are everything. We all know the stat. If you win the turnover battle, you typically win the game.
Right.
So.
That is very true in the NFL. All right, when we come back, Liam Cohen joined the Rich Eisen show earlier this week, and he was asked about Travis Hunter winning both Offensive Rookie of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year. Let's see what he has to say. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010X on 92.5 FM.
From Duval to the world,
all communication lines are clear.
Download the 1010XL apps for free on Apple and Android devices and listen wherever life takes you.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm dedicated to helping businesses manage risk, maximize opportunities, and move their company forward. Jimerson Burr attorneys are business-oriented lawyers, equally comfortable as community leaders, private transaction counselors, or courtroom advocates. If you have a legal issue of any kind affecting your business, contact the firm at 389-0050 or jimersonfirm.com.
Yo, ET here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and non-stop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head-on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your cool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
This Day in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 6, 1999, Tony Gwynn goes 4 for 5, collecting his 3,000th Major League hits.
What two vegetables are combined in making succotash?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
In order to make succotash, you'll need dry corn and dry beans. Suffering succotash was made famous by Sylvester the Cat.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Yo, this is Tony from Tony D's. Are you looking for a great slice of pizza? Well, we have about 12 varieties. Most places won't have slices of pizza after lunch. At Tony D's, you can get a slice all day. It's always fresh at Tony D's Pizza. Bay Meadows and 295.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, got a minute?
Always. What's on your mind?
This time of year, my air conditioner is running non-stop. Hot all day, hot all night. It has to run constantly just to keep up.
Well, that's what they do.
But if something happens to it in the middle of a 2-week heat wave, I'm in trouble, Jason. I can't wait 3 days or 2 days or even the next day for service. If you can't get someone here today, I'm sweating by tonight. What if it breaks, Jason?
You call me, pal. That's what we do. Bueller Air and Plumbing.
But you're probably swamped with calls from everyone else's AC that ran nonstop and then broke in a heat wave, so they called you because that's what you do.
But we always have room for an emergency. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we have techs standing by because we know these things happen.
So I don't need to worry. Wow. That time you calmed me down without even using the sunglasses.
Oh, I was reaching for them.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
I-9 Sports is geared up for fun for kids all over the First Coast with fall and winter registration open right now. Kids ages 3 to 17 get in the gym or on the field with I-9 Sports, covering Clay, Duval, and St. John's. And I-9 has all-girls flag football at Oakley, UNF, Fletcher, and Creekside. Plenty of other spots and sports on the First Coast to take advantage of. Don't miss out. Registration open now for fall and winter at i9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experience, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
It's hurricane season. Protect your home with 904 Gutters with a Z. That's right. Z as in zone defense for your home. Water damage hits hard. 904 Gutters with a Z hits back harder. Search 904 Gutters with a Z and make the right call.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
All right. Should have been different, but it wasn't different, was it? Same old story, dear John, so long.
All right, so this is
You
somebody.
hate this. You say this every time because you think it's not the whole cover.
That's right. This is I was going to say this is the portion of the Toby Keith cover, but it's not a full Toby Keith song, so I can't hate it.
It's MGK. He did a few different songs where it took bits of like very popular songs and then he kind of made them his own thing.
Does he get into country too?
He does everything. Like he'll do rap, he'll do
Machine
pop,
Gun
he'll
Kelly?
do country.
Yeah.
He'll do rock, he'll do pop, punk.
Yeah.
Like he does a little bit of everything.
Do you listen to just country, Lauren, or do you
So I was
venture
raised
outside?
listening to like 60s and 70s rock and
Okay.
that pop, I suppose, 60s and 70s music. So the Beatles and, all the way into the 80s with Michael Jackson. And then in the 90s, it's when I discovered country music. And now that's all I attend as far as concerts. But I also listen to other stuff. But I don't listen to any current music other than country music.
Yeah, it's funny. Before I really got into music, my parents, they would provide the music, and it was always big bands, the Lawrence Welk show on Sunday night. You'd be like, oh my gosh, please, no, don't make me watch it.
Yeah.
But that was their music.
Sure. My
And
parents love jazz. I think it was,
Oh, yeah, and it's fun. It's good. And then it got into like Neil Diamond. Neil Diamond was always jamming in our house.
Oh, yeah. My grandpa loves Neil Diamond.
Yeah. I'm old too. I like him too, for the
It's funny.
record.
My dad hates country. So
Yeah.
whenever we go anywhere together, we battle over the music. And usually I'll just be like, you play whatever you want. But he likes music that I definitely don't like. So we have to find some common ground. Like he'll listen to like newer female pop artists, and I'm like, please do not torture me with
Like,
that.
what is he listening to?
I'll have to get some
Dua
of the
Lipa.
names. No, not that. But they're more like they're more like alternative pop or whatever.
Like
I'll
Paramore or somebody like that.
She's fantastic. I love
they're
Taylor. She's
good,
like
yeah.
my favorite.
I like them.
Her vocals are insane. It was funny today at camp. They played "Drowning Pool," the Body song.
yeah.
The Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. And so Jacob, and then a couple of our interns are standing there, and they're like, "This is the music Taylor listens to, isn't it?"
Yeah, that's a good tune though. I like that
It's a
tune.
good song.
Yeah, especially for football.
Oh,
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, so Jaguars head coach Liam Cohen joined the Rich Eisen show earlier this week, and Rich Eisen is obsessed with Travis Hunter. He will tell you that straight out the gates. He is obsessed with Travis Hunter, and he wants to see him play on both sides of the ball, of course, as a lot of people do. So Rich Eisen asked Liam Cohen, can Travis Hunter win both offensive and defensive Rookie of the Year?
I do think it's possible. He is committed, man. Like, he is committed to driving not just himself, but his teammates as well. And I think that his teammates, you spoke of Josh Hines-Allen, you speak of Trayvon Walker, you speak of Foye, Tyson Campbell, I mean, Jordan Lewis from Dallas. Like, these guys are challenging him every single day. Like, he doesn't get a free pass because he was the second overall pick and he's Travis Hunter. Like, they are in his grill, trying to jam him up, trying to hem him up, trying to make it as hard as they can possibly make it for him in a great way, like in the most healthy way as possible, where they're going at it and chirping at each other. But it's truly, guys, iron sharpening iron. That's what it feels like. And I wouldn't expect anything less from those guys. And so they've all been on board in terms of, hey, man, they think he can do it as well, but they're going to make him earn it as well in this building.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I mean, when the rookies come in, you want to, if they're going to be contributors, you want to make sure they're going to be able to handle it, I remember Fred Taylor always says, and I think he overblows it, to be honest with you, but he's like, you and Boyer, man, you guys gave me a hard time early on. You kept hitting me when I was, wasn't full speed. I'm like, yeah, we kind of just want to see, and then we realized quickly that you're the man, Fred.
Yeah.
And we left you alone after that. But no, you do. You want to test him. And look, he's not a, he's not cocky. He's very confident. I mean, some people might be the dancing and all that, but I love it, man. You're into it. It's cool. It's good energy. But at the same time,
dancing and missing what he's supposed to be doing.
No, right. He's just in the rhythm of the practice and whatnot. But you do want to make, you're not going to give him no free ride. This is the NFL, man. If you're going to be one of our starters, we're going to make sure that you can, And he hasn't dominated out there. He's just made some really good plays from time to time. He's been good. But I would sit there and be like, wow, he's
taking every camp over. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. But he's going to be a nice contributor to this team. And as far as Rookie of the Year, I don't know. I don't know what do you got to do to get that? Like 8 touchdowns on offense and 6 picks on defense? Can he do it? Maybe. I don't know.
It depends on if there's if Cam Ward has a good season, offensive rookie of the year is going to go to Cam Ward. Yeah. They're always going to pick the quarterback like Jaden
or
Daniels
an Ashton Genty this year. Like, there's going to be guys like that that are going to be in the mix.
Competition
a lot of defensive guys that I think could still. And Abdul Carter, I heard, has been insane through camp so far. God, there's other really, really good players that are only having to figure out their one side of the ball right now. That may be a little bit easier than having to do 2 of them.
Yeah, and again, I feel like it typically goes to a quarterback or on the defensive side, it goes to a pass rusher if those guys are productive, and because that's where people's eyes are always going to be on. But I don't think anyone in Jacksonville cares about those accolades for Travis Hunter. They care about is he making game-changing plays for this team week in and week out.
Yeah, to the point of the players here kind of testing him. I think they also know, and I'm sure they've heard and seen other players around the league addressing how they are going to approach the situation with Travis Hunter. So you have to test that as much as you can, and you're not going to do it to the full extreme because they're talking about, being tough on him during those games, okay, can he do this? Push him to the absolute limit. I'm not saying they can really do that because you're not going to go drill Travis Hunter in the middle of the field. You're not going to do that as a teammate. But as far as you can push that, you've got to, because if other teams are going to do it, which they are, then you've got to be at least semi-ready for it.
Yeah, it's funny. You'll start off by testing them, and then once they start making plays and touchdowns, you're like, all right, leave that kid alone.
Yeah, let's avoid that.
He cannot get hurt. He cannot hit him too much in practice anymore. He's really productive. You want to make sure he's good to go every Sunday.
His reaction time as a corner is what is so incredibly impressive to me. His fluidity is great too, but it's that instinct that he has, and the moment that he thinks he can break on the ball, that's what I'm just so excited to see. I don't think we've had a cornerback that could be a guy that leads the NFL in interceptions. And again, that's putting a lot on Travis Hunter's plate when he's playing both sides. But I think that could be who Travis Hunter is. I think he could be because he's so incredibly quick and agile, he could be a guy that leads all of the NFL with, 5-6 interceptions in a season.
Yeah, and interceptions, I mean, they're great, but that means they're also going at you a lot. I mean, look at the Diggs guy from Dallas. He'll get 11 picks, but he'll give up 11 big bombs too. I don't see that out of Travis Hunter. So, look, it's gonna. I think it's more like if he really shows up, they won't want to go his way. They just will be like, I'm not going.
Good luck going.
If you're avoiding the corner, that's when you know
you're gonna have to choose. If he's really the real deal, you're gonna go after Campbell before you go after
especially if he's the guy, because obviously he is the guy more so to get the ball. He has the hands to be able to get those interceptions a little more than Tyson Campbell has. Tyson Campbell can do it, but obviously Travis Hunter, being a wide receiver, also has the hands a little bit more in that world. So if you have to avoid that from turning the ball over, and you have that corner that you're scared to target that side of the field, then I think you're talking about somebody that people are actually scared to go up against. Not if you're testing them and wanting to okay, let's just throw at Travis because maybe he'll get a pick, but other than that, we're not worried. You don't want it to be that.
Kirby Joseph led the NFL last year with 9 picks as a safety.
As a safety. Now, safeties are different.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're different. Yeah, you'd like them to lead the league.
Confuse that quarterback all day long. All right, Taylor Dahl has a tangent on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Share your life with 1010XL. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Oh, wait. I'm going to take a picture and post it on Facebook. What? Hashtag
1010XL.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Hey, Hicken here for my friends at Cleaning Freaks at Zero Res. Great time of the year to get your house Zero Resified. And right now, you can get your entire home clean from Jacksonville's ultimate carpet cleaner. You'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $135. Plus, they're throwing in a free hallway and take $100 off the air duct cleaning. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResJacksonville.com or call 287-5727 and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spelled backwards or forwards. It spells the same. Zero Res.
Zero Res.
If you're playing fantasy football, you might want a little help. Get 1010XL's Fantasy Football Draft Guide with in-depth player bios and the top 32 rankings at every position. Get the guide at 1010XL.com and on all of the 1010XL social channels.
Big Chief Tire is always looking for ways to better serve the Jacksonville community we call home. Lauren Brooks here. Starting Monday, June 16th, they are opening their 6th shop location in Mandarin, providing more Jacksonville residents with a locally owned auto repair business that they can trust. Visit the new shop on San Jose Boulevard today for all your vehicle needs, including brake repair, new tires, and more. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule an appointment today.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
New and pre-owned firearms are always in stock at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Want a new sidearm or rifle? Brands like Kimbar, Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, and Beretta. No lines, no hassle. Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician, Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Here's a simple tip for shoulder health to improve your posture. Slouching can put extra stress on your shoulders, leading to pain and injury. Make sure your head is over your shoulders are relaxed and pulled back, and your spine is properly aligned. whether you're sitting or standing. If you sit for long periods of time, make sure to get up and take breaks and work on pulling your shoulders back. Get up and get moving, Jacks. Go Jags.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. The Jaguars will bring back their fan favorite Prowler throwback uniforms for 4 games this season. Week 3 versus the Texans, Week 5 versus the Chiefs for Monday Night Football, Week 14 versus the Colts, and Week 18 versus the Titans. They face the Steelers in the first preseason game this Saturday at 7, airing on 1010XL 92.5 FM. It's 87 degrees at 3:01. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Is this a song with
About
Dad Boss
time.
plays?
Thanks, RJ. About time one of mine got thrown into the mix.
That's right. Is
Have
this
a
a song
drink.
y'all play?
No, but I'd like to sing this one. Have a Drink on Me by AC/DC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Friday night we're playing, though. Cole Haynes
right.
at the beach, Atlantic Beach, 8 o'clock. Be rocking. I'm really looking forward to being indoors. Because outdoors, it's kind of, the aesthetic's different.
Yeah.
The sound
The
is different.
acoustics,
But
yeah.
when you're inside, man, it's just banging. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. And you're not sweating as much. As much.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
much.
I'll be bringing about 4 shirts, so it's okay. And a couple towels, a couple hats. It's all right.
Playing at Pete's, we thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
We weren't
Appreciate it.
working quite as hard as
Yeah.
you were, but yeah, we loved it. But yeah, I'm excited for y'all to be indoors.
Good
and
times.
We'll see if I can wrangle Brian from the arena after Riley Green all the way to Cole Haynes at the beach. We shall see.
Well, at least you live at the beach, right?
Of course, yeah.
It's not too much out of the way.
It's definitely not too far. By the way, speaking of that, tonight at the Seawalk Pavilion, there's live music from 6 to 8 p.m.
Oh.
And in a break of the music, there's a Trevor Lawrence lookalike contest at 7
way.
p.m.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm excited to see, does Trevor Lawrence show up? Probably not. But no, I want to see, is there anyone out in Jacksonville
really
looks
yeah.
looks a lot like him? Because he has a very distinct face.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. I
Yeah.
remember when the Jags first signed Trevor Lawrence and they had, I'm trying to remember, I want to say Denny Thompson brought somebody in here that was dressed as Trevor. And it honestly, a few people all I want to say it was a girl, but it was a very tall girl.
There is
And
a girl that looks a lot
it
like
was,
him.
yeah, she had
Right. I
same
remember
hair,
that.
was
Yeah.
tall,
Yeah.
was a bigger, definitely more a bigger body type. But I remember it, everybody in the hallway was like, who just walked by? And I was like, I kind of turned and I'm like, okay, that wasn't Trevor, but it was good. It was a good try.
That kind of stuff's so cool. And when they win, it explodes even more. That's
Oh,
what's
yeah.
awesome
Oh,
about
yeah.
it. You know what I mean? They're all excited about the new year and hearing good things about Trevor. And next thing you know, they start winning. This city will go through the roof. It'll be so much fun.
So many babies born will be named Trevor. I had predicted, Tom, in 2017 that if the Jaguars won the Super Bowl, Calais would be a baby name that was spread all throughout town.
Yeah, we may have a lot of
would be a middle
Liams.
name.
Yeah.
We may have a lot of Liams because Liam is a popular one right now anyway.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
people
Yeah.
may lean on some
I like
Liams.
that name, Liam, for
Me
a
too.
boy. That's a good, solid Irish name.
That's my cousin's baby son's name. So cute. He's a little over 6 months old.
right.
All right now, Taylor Doll has a tangent.
Now, Taylor's Tangent, served up by Chick-fil-A on 1010XL.
So this has turned into Travis Hunter Day, but I'm fine with it. I don't know if you saw these comments, but Devontae Adams joined the Pivot. and they were talking to Devontae Adams about Travis Hunter and his aspirations to be a full-time player on both sides of the ball. And so Adams pretty much said he doesn't think it's realistic. So some of the quotes from that to go into some of the details. The first one says, I don't think it's possible to do for real, not at a high level. Adams said, now entering his 12th season in the NFL, now with the Rams, his first season with the Rams, said he has seen what other players go through as full-time players on offense and special teams, and just that is a lot. The handful of extra plays each game can create a lot of wear and tear, and Hunter will essentially double his snaps. He says, it's hard enough to cover a punt and then be on one side of the ball. Adams said, I haven't done it. I'm not acting like I'm on a kickoff or punt, but I see the dudes who are. You see my yardage versus the yardage of some of those who start on offense and play special teams as well. That's just a lot of mileage, man. I'm not even concerned so much if he can do it over the course of a game or even a season. It's more like how long his career is going to be if he plays that many snaps. All you're doing is doubling your risk of injury every time you do it.
Yeah, I mean, those are legit, comments coming from a guy that's played a lot of football. Doesn't mean he can't do it.
Yeah.
I can understand the questioning. I mean, look, I still question a little bit. I want to see the rigor part of it. Conditioning, like I've said, he's fine. But even like if he's got to do press, that banging, and tackling, and blocking, on offense, he's going to have to block.
And
these
there's a mental
receivers
side
are going
too,
to have to
Tom.
block.
Yeah,
of course.
It's not just like we talked about. He has to be in the two different meeting rooms. It's all the physical stuff, but it's also mentally. He has to know exactly where he's supposed to be when he runs his routes, and he has to know exactly where he's supposed to be in communication with the secondary. And as Aaron Beasley was detailing with
how
us
difficult
yesterday,
that communication can be.
There's a ton of stuff going on all at once.
And that's what he goes on, and he says the other thing that Adams worries about, the long-term health of Hunter as a two-way player, is his frame. Hunter is listed as 6'1", 185, and while that may allow him to make some freakishly athletic plays, it may be a hindrance when trying to bring down NFL-sized receivers. So Adams said, you got to tackle guys like Derrick Henry with that frame. He's athletic as hell, but he better do some ninja if he wants to use that frame to get him down.
Yeah.
I also like how earlier in the clip, Adams is like, it's not like I play special teams. Like, he had to slide that in there.
I'm not doing
I'm way too good to also
I'm a wide
play
receiver
special
one, in
teams.
case you don't know.
Correct.
Yeah, you don't want him on special teams. That's
Although
for
now
sure.
I don't know if he is wide receiver one playing for the Rams.
Yeah.
He'll be a great addition, though. I bet you he has a big year.
He sure
I always
did
love
here.
that. I love him as a player. I look as a guy that had to run down a punt and sometimes play defense. It does. I mean, it doesn't. You get the TV timeout for the record, so you get a little rest, so you can catch your breath a little bit. But it does, And again, I think it's valid. Just the rigors of playing, tackling, blocking, not running around on air. You can do that, and he's shown that he can do that. But we're going to find out.
Yeah.
We're going to find out. And for the record, all this communication in the secondary, the linebackers were
you
part
guys
of it
also
too.
have to
Okay. And by the way, we had to know the front and the back, not just the back. So let's not give too much credit to those DBs out there. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you're the one who brought Beasley.
I love Beast. He's my man. And I tell you what, he was a fantastic player, and that attitude is what every corner should have. Just that. And he didn't burn the 40. But he knew how to play, and he was very physical. And you can see how he's a big corner. I mean, Beast is not a small guy. When you hug him, like always hug and you shake hands, you're like, he's still very wiry, strong. So, he knew how to play that press and that man and get in their face. And I think what was really poignant about what he said, and by the way, we'll have him every week on Tuesdays, which will be so much fun.
Love it.
Just the amount of studying that goes in. You don't, and I don't think you can really describe it in words when you say how much you really have to study to get a leg up in the NFL, no matter how good you are talent-wise, because everybody's good talent-wise. You got to, setting up DBs. You talk about Devontae Adams. He's great at setting them up. You know what I mean? You talk about learning how the split of the wide receiver and how that changes his route, just for that one play, and how you're going to change playing him. The calls. How about that China call?
Yeah.
Remember that China call?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great call. It basically says, hey, you flat player, get out the flat. I'm going to help the safety with this deeper route from the outside guy. But it's just a lot. So you got to put in that time, man. And now, for the record, quarterback is times a lot more, like 1,000 more than a DB has to figure out.
Yeah.
So you just, man, that studying is so critical.
Yeah. And Travis is doing it DB and wide receiver.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of that. But it is, side note, did you see that Matthew Stafford, he aggravated a disc during practice today? So he's dealing
He had to have
with
an
injury.
epidural.
Yeah, he had to have an epidural, which does not sound fun whatsoever.
Yeah, no doubt. Ouch. Yeah, those, you can only have so many of those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Epidurals?
Yeah, they get calcium deposits and stuff like that. It's temporary relief, you know, to get you some relief. But, man,
It's a
those back
serious back
injuries,
problem,
my back goes out, it's rough. There's no doubt about it. You got to manage it the whole day.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you just get up, you're like, oh, I got to getting dressed is a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just getting ready and getting out the
Everything,
door. Everything is just not too much fun. So hopefully he can. I love Matt. I've always loved Matthew Stafford. Even in college, he's always just been I know. But he always had a great arm, and he always would get.
Yeah.
Back in the day when you used to get smashed in the face, his face would be bloody all the time.
I know. He was always bleeding, seriously.
He was, because he would stand in there and take that shot, and he's
he was a Lion, and
he's great.
I still loved Matthew Stafford even when he's in Detroit.
Yeah.
He's just one of those very likable guys, and I always thought he was very underrated, and I thought a lot of it was just because of kind of everything Detroit was at that time. So I was glad when he got a Super Bowl, because I was like, heck yeah, this guy deserves it.
You know, I felt watching that quarterback we were talking about. I felt bad for Goff in the beginning. He's like, here I am, I'm their first pick, and then all of a sudden, what? You're trading me for what? And I'm going where and what? And you bringing in who? And he was like, man, that kind of hurts.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
then he was emotional and talking about his gratitude towards Dan Campbell and everybody with the Lions who said,
and
not
Brad
just
Holmes,
and Brad Holmes, the GM,
yeah.
not just that they acquired him, they wanted him.
really
he was
wanted
going
him.
to be their guy, and he's proven them right. Look at how good he was.
Listen, Brunell has told me in person, he's like, he makes throws in practice. We're all like, we all look around like, holy cow, this guy, he's got all the tools. I think Jared Goff's one of the better QBs in the game. For sure.
I do too. I've never had back problems. I've had neck problems though, and I feel like anything that's dealing with your spine is debilitating.
It inflames. Everything around it inflames.
Right.
It's just not fun.
You can't move. Something that is fun, we've got lunch to give away.
We do have lunch. Lunch for free to Chick-fil-A. Give us a call at 641-1010, and you get free lunch today. Let's say what caller 2.
Caller number 2, 641-1010.
I was like, did he just answer a phone call?
I thought he did too. I was like, I haven't gone to break yet, Tom. We're going to talk some fantasy football next with Trent Osborne, who is the mastermind behind the 1010XL Fantasy Football Guide. I've already sent that out to friends, so we will talk more about that. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
He's our big hitter.
I'm Jaguars Today's middle linebacker, Tom McManus.
He tackles Jags talk from a middle linebacker's point of view. Fridays on 1010XL. Protected by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Frank Frangie here. Nimnick Chevrolet is proud to be a 7-time Chevrolet Dealer of the Year recipient, the only dealership in Northeast Florida to ever win this prestigious award, earned by treating customers with courtesy, respect, and fairness. All part of Nimnick's Treating You Right guarantee. Visit nimnickchevy.com to learn more. For 3 generations, Nimnick has been the place customers keep coming back to. They treat you right. Where do you go? The answer is simple. Nobody but Nimnick. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Hacker here. You know, those of you that have listened to me for years realize that I used to do a lot of different weight loss things, a lot of different things that I tried that just never worked for one reason or the other. And then Awaken 180 Weight Loss came along, and I heard Mike Dempsey and Matt Hayes talking about it, and I thought, you know what? What the heck? What do I have to lose? I'm going to give it a try. I had low expectations, to be honest, based on previous history, but I learned very quickly that Awaken 180 Weight Loss is the best weight loss program I was ever on. I dropped 19 pounds my first 2 weeks on Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Went on to lose over 100 pounds total. I'm keeping the weight off with the Awaken 180 Weight Loss Maintenance Program. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, without a shadow of a doubt, is the best weight loss program I have ever been on, and the results speak for themselves. If it's time for you to lose some weight like it was for me, go to awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. You can do it. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Take a radio boat ride with Captain Cabot on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Reeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services and awaken 180 weight loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Your yard starting to look a little like a jungle? Well, it might be time for a little TLC. Or how about RTC, Russell Tree Care? At Russell Tree Care, they give your trees the perfect haircut. Whether it's trimming or removing, they'll make sure your yard looks its best, all while keeping safety as a top priority. Call Russell Tree Care today and let them take care of your trees. Russell Tree Care, 844-4Mr. Wood. That's 844-467-9663. Or visit RussellTreeCareLLC.com today. Your trees will thank you.
They were right. It could have waited. I can't believe it happened to me. Reaching to check my phone. Now my family has to hear that I'm never coming home again.
Officer?
I'm so sorry. I have some very sad news to share with you.
Every day, 9 people on Florida roadways don't make it home. I was one of the people that didn't make it home.
Ride with Do Not Disturb. Every trip, every time. Let's get everyone home safely. A message from Florida Department of Transportation, Target Zero. For more information, visit targetzerofl.com.
Hey, it's Joe C. When was the last time you flushed out your water heater? Flushing a water heater each year improves its efficiency and extends its lifespan. So call Roland Reese Plumbing for a routine water heater flush out and any other plumbing needs. 260-7059. Roland Reese Plumbing.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks with you, and we are joined by Trent Osborne, who works here at 1010XL and designed and created the 1010XL Fantasy Football Guide. Trent, is this your walk-up music?
Yes.
Apparently it is. Yeah.
Good decision.
I hadn't talked about it before, but I'll take it. Definitely better than anything I would have came up with.
Oh, a little Limp Bizkit for you, man.
Oh,
Royalty in Jacksonville.
Yeah, absolutely. Trent, you're not necessarily from Jacksonville, but you've heard of Limp Bizkit before.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big pro wrestling guy.
Okay.
Any of the pro wrestling fans out there, Limp Bizkit's kind of legendary. With them.
There you go.
So when Hulk Hogan passed away, was that a bad day for you?
It was. I was actually in the middle of that Bill Belichick presser.
Oh, right.
And it had hit.
At ACC kickoff.
Yeah. I was filming, it was actually the Brent Pry one. So
Okay.
I was filming Brent Pry with my phone. And then the notification hit, and everybody kind of got it at the same time. And we were just like, oh, okay.
Sorry, Brent Pry, head coach of Virginia Tech. We want to hear you talk about facial too, but Hulk Hogan just passed away. One other thing I would ask you before we get to the 1010XL Fantasy Football Guide, you got to be around Frank Reich at ACC kickoff. Because you're a Colts fan, was that kind of a cool moment for you?
Well, Colts fans and Frank Reich have a bit of a checkered checkered history. No, Frank's a great guy. Frank, it was cool. We didn't get too much time with them because they actually started their camp that day that he was at ACC, so they had to get on a jet the second we were done. So just in passing, we had met, but he's a great guy. I was lucky to meet him, but probably not the most popular guy in Indianapolis.
It was funny, too, just speaking of Limp Bizkit, because the Jags put out the video. This was, I think, back in OTAs, and they were asking some of the younger players, I think it was all the rookies, who, like, different Freds were. And so they were like, I can't remember who they were asking, but they were like, do you know Fred Durst? And he was like, I don't know who that is. And they were like, Limp Bizkit? He was like, Limp what? I was cracking up. I think I immediately showed you, Trent, because I was laughing so hard.
They need to listen to some.
I know, they do. Put that on.
They got rap and rock all
Put some
together,
break stuff out there.
Absolutely. No doubt. Get you fired up.
That's right. So friends of mine are big into fantasy football. I sent them the guide right away. They immediately were like, 57 pages. Oh, my goodness. So this was obviously a labor of love.
Oh, absolutely. I had brought the idea to our bosses here at 1010, and I'm so appreciative to Steve Griffin and Ken Brady for giving me the opportunity to do it. Months-long project. I'm so thankful to everybody who was able to help out. Hacker, Tony, Hayes.
Dempsey.
Yes, I can't forget Dempsey. Gibby had helped us out, and the multimedia team for helping out. A huge project, but I'm really proud of the way it turned out.
Wow. How many hours do you think you went into this guide, Trent?
Oh, my gosh. I mean,
a lot of studying.
It's lucky that we had so much off time with it being the off season and things like that. I mean, it was weeks where I would come in, and I'm so appreciative of the rest of the multimedia team being able to hold it down while I did that.
Yeah.
Like I said, multiple weeks straight of just working on that, writing the bios, doing the research, and everything.
Let's talk about some of the things in the fantasy guide, Trent, because we have a dynasty league here at 1010XL too. So that we already drafted our rookies, and I still need a running back for anybody out there. I know we've been talking about it a little bit, but was there any possession group, because you break down the quarterback, wide receiver, running back, tight end. Those are the four you really break down. And Dempsey, Hacker, Hayes, Tony, Trent, Gibby, they rank each of theirs in each of those respective position groups. Was there what to you felt like maybe the biggest disparity? Was there any player that someone like had way higher than anybody else that you were kind of shocked about?
The tight ends were kind of all over the place. I remember specifically Dallas Goedert, the tight end for the Eagles. Hayes had him, I think, 5th or 6th in his rankings, and nobody else had him in their top 10 at all.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Wide receivers, we were all pretty close. We all had the exact same top 4, exact same ranking of them, 1 through 4.
Probably the quarterbacks, too.
Quarterbacks were pretty close. I mean, everyone had the consensus, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and everybody else were the top 10. But those were the tight ends. There was definitely a lot of movement. I had Tyler Warren in my top 10. Definitely not any bias there. Definitely not any bias there. But not many people had him super highly ranked. But tight end's probably the most differences there.
Yeah, which I think makes sense. When you're talking about those wide receivers, when you go through the Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, were those top 4 consensus between all of you guys, and it makes sense. The one thing you always have to kind of figure out, because a lot of people, when you see fantasy rankings, and Trent, obviously you know this, working on this and doing a lot of fantasy drafts every year, but the difference in having to separate just because they're a good fantasy player doesn't always mean they're one of the better players, or some of the better players may not be those fantasy players.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that obviously this guy is one of the best players in the league, but Jamar Chase, I think, could have one of the best seasons a fantasy football player has ever had. I mean, he's got it's a perfect storm of offensive-minded head coach, great quarterback, great weapons around him to take attention away from him defensively. Terrible defense.
Yeah.
I was telling Taylor the other day, Joe Burrow might break the record for pass attempts in a single season.
Well, like 60 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, exactly. That offense is going to be producing really highly. The flip side of that, Garrett Wilson drives me crazy because he's a great player. Anybody would want him on their team in real life, but quarterback, not that great of a passer. Sorry, Taylor.
It's okay.
Not a great offense in general, so people tend to rank him higher than he usually produces based on how good he is in real life.
Yeah. So how about, is Brian Thomas our highest ranking Jag going into the season, what do you think, as far as fantasy?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Brian Thomas has a wide receiver 1 upside. It would not shock me one bit, especially with Liam Cohen's offense, if he did end up outscoring every other wide receiver in fantasy football.
And then who comes in next? Is it Travis, or is that unknown yet? Or who would come in next, you think, as a higher rated fantasy player on this team?
Well, there's a lot of movement. Obviously, there's been a lot of movement this offseason for the Jaguars, and we have a whole section in the guide that specifically talks about the Jaguars and those moves. I mean, Trevor, a lot of question marks around him. Obviously, how's he going to fit into the system? Is he going to be able to get back to that 2022 level that he was at? And you look at the running backs, I mean...
That's the hard one, I think, for fantasy.
Yeah, right.
We got a lot of variation on, do you trust any of the Jags running backs? And B, if you do trust him, who is it that you like? I'm a big Bashal Tootin guy. I think Tootin, by midseason, is going to end up being that guy, because I think he kind of gives that offense, especially fantasy-wise, the best of both worlds between Travis and Tank Bigsby.
But that doesn't help you weeks 1 through 4 or 6.
Right.
Absolutely it doesn't. And it's kind of pick your poison there. I'm also a big Brenton Strange guy.
Yeah, me too.
I think that this is probably a bit of a hot take, but I think Evan Ingram's career resurgence we saw had a lot more to do with playing with Trevor than a lot of people give it credit for. I think Brenton is a great buy low because he's basically free. He's not getting drafted, especially if you're in leagues without a lot of Jaguars fans. I think he's a great buy low target who's going to get a lot of good production this year.
And people, I think, are more concerned about Brenton in this offense because Liam Cohen doesn't necessarily want to feature the tight end.
Yeah, and that goes into, it's a first-time head coach. If the Jags were to go out and hire somebody like name your coach, Brian Daboll, Shane Steichen, you have an example of what they like to do, what they don't like to do, things like that. And that's how he was as an offensive coordinator, may not necessarily be, what he is as a head coach. So there's so many questions around the team, and we don't even get into we haven't even gotten into the Travis Hunter debacle, whether you trust that. But like we talked about a second.
Debacle? You can't call it a debacle.
Well, fantasy football-wise, it's absolutely.
I guess it is.
It's a conundrum for sure in fantasy football.
Yeah, and there's a lot of debates depending on who you ask on whether you should trust Travis or you shouldn't. Trevor's a big question, but the one guy that you look at and you're like, you can trust him, barring injury, knock on wood, Brian Thomas Jr. is going to produce this year.
For sure. Well, how about Trev as a whole going into this year for fantasy football? I mean, where do you think he ends up, for the most part, being drafted? And I'm not a big fantasy guy. I told you I got too much ADD that changes up my lineup every week because I forget. But I know, and how do you draft? I know running back's high, but when do you think the quarterback's coming? When does Trevor come into play for people picking him? What round do you think?
Did people in our building have them in his rankings at all?
Hayes was pretty high on Hayes, and Hacker were both pretty high on Trevor. We actually have a whole section where we asked everybody, do you trust Trevor? Trevor generally is around the 20th quarterback taken in fantasy football draft. So he's being drafted in the later rounds. And a lot of that is buyer's remorse over the past 2 years. I've been a big guy that I've believed in Trevor. I've drafted Trevor in every league I could. Do I want to get burned again? And that's not to say Trevor won't be good in real life, but like you said, there's a big disparity between how much passing volume is he going to have versus, what if they do ask him to just be Baker Mayfield and it doesn't turn into... Now, Baker was great in fantasy last year, but Trevor might not gel in that offense just as much. So there's a lot of people looking at Trevor as a buy low candidate. I like him where he's being drafted right now, but I do kind of have that history of, do I really want to be burned a third time on him?
Well, listen, say he is the 20th, right? Just going in. I would take a little risk and move him up a little. So I think he's going to be better than that. You know what I mean? Like, based on what we've seen in camp. Does that make sense or not?
Like, you would draft him earlier.
A little bit earlier than the 20th. I mean, I don't know who's in front of him.
But you didn't draft him the last 2 years and get burned by those injuries.
No, right. But
I guess that also means like how many teams are in your league too. Because if you have a 12-team league, then you're drafting him late in the second round, which I guess isn't as big. Well, 20th quarterback overall, I guess is later than that. Yep. But I think for a while we were seeing him go in that time frame. But to your point, Trent, it has been a lot of people. Injury probably factors in that too. You're talking about the last 2 seasons of him missing time, and so once you do that, then you're going to your backup quarterback, and who is that? And by the end of the season, for a lot of people, is the question mark.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time, drafting Trevor Lawrence, it's almost like that ex you can't quit. Yeah, because you see the talent. Nobody is denying that Trevor's one of the more talented quarterbacks in the league. You look at this, this sexy Liam Cohen offense. Is he going to come in, throw it all over the yard? Is he going to get back to how he looked in the back half of 2022? And that's a big question. But, you talked about the injuries. And fantasy football players are very superstitious people. And Christian McCaffrey, Hacker said as much in the draft guide. Everything looks like Christian McCaffrey should be great, but I drafted him first overall, and he finishes the running back 72 on the year. Right. So I don't know if I really want to get in the business of drafting him again.
McCaffrey, yeah.
So who won last year, by the way? The 1010XL fantasy.
The Dynasty League?
Yeah. Who won
that would be me, actually. Wow. I did win the Dynasty League.
Was it between you and Molly?
Yes, so it was actually one of our salespeople, Brent, here at the station, and Molly, who used to be our receptionist up front, they had the best teams all year long, and for whatever reason in the semifinals, Hayes, Carline, and I just got hot and knocked them both off in the semis, and ended up winning the league.
This year we have a loser. Like last year, the winner won and they got the money. This year we're having a loser punishment too. So if you're like dead last in our league, you have to do stuff. So we have a list that we have to vote on. And one of it is like karaoke. I was like, that'd be fun. Like we could all go out and whatever. I'll sing some karaoke hopefully I'm not last. But I could do that one. Some of them though, like one is singing the national anthem at the shrimp game. I was like, I'll throw up. Like I can't do that. I cannot. So don't be last. Don't be last, Taylor.
I feel like I overheard that karaoke is winning. So
is it? Okay.
That is good news.
I feel like that just also is fun too. I feel like we'd have a good time doing that. Real quick, Trent, before we let you go, when it comes to AFC South as a whole, when the players that people are drafting, what do you think are some of, we talk about obviously Brian Thomas Jr. and Nico Collins probably. What are some of the players players in the AFC South as a whole that you see being drafted the highest as you've done this guide?
Well, BTJ has been, like I said, he's one of the highest guys drafted in any of the leagues. The problem with it is, I don't need to tell you guys this, but the AFC South is not very good. So not Cam Ward. A lot of guys are taking dart throws on him, you know, and that is a good recipe for winning fantasy football league, is taking those dart throws on these running backs. It's that the offenses just aren't very attractive. I mean, CJ Stroud burned a lot of people last year, and that situation doesn't look a lot better than it was this past season. So you look at Brian Thomas Jr. probably is him along with Nico Collins, probably the most valuable guys in the entire division. I'm a big believer in Anthony Richardson in the fact that he has the chance to end as the QB1 just with his rushing upside. He could also not be the starter and not play a single game. So
he could also be the starter and
play 2 games and then not be able to play.
Or have another injury just because that's been the history. By the way, since you mentioned Brent, shout out to Brent. He and his wife had their baby last week.
Oh, yeah.
So give them congratulations for welcoming Sweet Baker into the world. All right, Trent, remind people where they can go to get the fantasy guide.
So you guys can go to any of our social platforms, Twitter, Instagram, or X, I should say. X, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Any of our links, you can find it on the YouTube as well. On our website, 1010xl.com, there will be a little flash banner you can click on. It is free. That's why I keep telling people it is a free download. If everybody that helped out with this is very knowledgeable about it. Mike Dempsey is one of the most knowledgeable fantasy football players in the entire world, and that's not an exaggeration to say. He might be too humble to say that. I'm not. Great asset, especially as far as the free stuff goes. I would love and appreciate it if you guys could check it out.
Awesome. Great job.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job to you, to Tony, to Hacker, to Hayes, to Gibby, and of course, Mike Dempsey as well. Thank you so much, Trent.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
Of course. One segment to go here on Helmets and Heels. I'll give you the Terminix Pest of the Day on the other side. It's 1010X on 82.5 FM.
Your doctor says your testosterone is normal. Normal for who? Beta males? That's where those lab ranges come from. Male Excel uses optimal levels, where you were at 25, not where outdated mainstream medicine thinks you should be. Our protocol is different. Daily dosing, multiple hormones, personalized to your body, not some insurance company's spreadsheet. This is precision medicine, not sick care. Try MaleExcel.com, free test. Stop being normal. Start being optimal.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When roaches move into your home or business, you want them out fast. At Terminix, they don't just get rid of the roaches, they evict them, and they work to prevent them from coming back. No one likes an uninvited pest. When roaches show up, so does Terminix. So don't live with a cockroach problem. I certainly don't. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
Experience the Jacksonville Rock Orchestra as they bring to life the legendary sound of Journey.
Took the midnight train going anywhere.
Feel the power of Faithfully. Rock out to Wheel in the Sky and sing every word of Don't Stop Believing. Friday, August 8th at the historic Florida Theater. One epic night of the Jacksonville Rock Orchestra featuring Journey. Get your tickets at floridatheater.com.
Mike Dempsey for Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacksonville Beach. If your roof's got any damage, if it leaks, if it's just old and ugly, call my friends at Apex Roofing. But Mike, roofs are so expensive. It's true, quality roofing is not cheap, but Apex Roofing has up to 100% financing available, so you don't have to compromise quality for budget. Apex Roofing, no shortcuts, no stress, just quality work with financing available. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach. ApexRoofingFL.com.
Rita, Jorge, let's bring the nail gun over here.
Jose stands tall atop his sustainable flooring company.
Totally. It's renewable and moisture resistant, but we have several green options too. Or we got some beautiful reclaimed oak. No.
But floored by his success, he needs to hire more installers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The playoff-bound Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp are in full swing at the newly renovated VyStar Ballpark. Your home for affordable family fun. Tickets start at just $5. Fireworks after every Friday home game and kids round the bases after Sunday games. Log on to jackshrimp.com for tickets and details. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable, family, fun.
To get this thing unwrapped here.
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right. Dan, I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Daily Stash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Daily Stash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Daily Stash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daily Stash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
The 2025 NFL season is just around the corner, and we can't wait for you to be back at the bank. Your Jacksonville Jaguars are starting off the preseason going head-to-head with the Pittsburgh Steelers Saturday, August 9th. Be at the bank as the Jags take the field for the first time this season, and grab your tickets for a 7 p.m. kickoff by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you soon, Jags fans.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
I'll mention the Dallas thing. I lied. Not 1 segment to go, 2 segments to go. We changed our clock, and I've been on top of it until right then. But that's quite all right. We are going to give you today's Terminix Pest of the Day right now. Terminix is the absolute best in the business. I've been telling you guys about them for a while. They spray our front yard. They spray our backyard for mosquitoes. They make sure that we have no pests inside the house or outside the house, whether that's wasps, cockroaches, ants. We used to have an ant problem inside the house. No longer that whatsoever. You can find them online at Terminix.com. TERMINIX.com. And then, of course, they take care of Everbank Stadium, ViStar Ballpark, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, so many of your favorite event venues around town. They do such a great job, both residentially and commercially. So the pest of the day, it has to do with college football. So if you look to see right now the teams with the hardest schedules in all of college football, number 1 is the University of Florida. If you looked last year as to who had the hardest schedule in all of college football, it was the University of Florida. Why is that? Because the SEC, despite all the resources that they have, they said for football, we're going to do a 2-year schedule. We're going to take these teams and you're going to play them home and away. We're just going to flip-flop those from year 1 to year 2. So if you're a team that has a fairly easy schedule, well, you get that 2 years in a row. Why on earth didn't the SEC just do year by year? That's how it's done in every other sport. Why in football would it be different? You dummies made certain teams, and this isn't just a Florida thing, but you made certain teams have a much harder path and other teams have an easier path for 2 years instead of 1 year. And that annoys me.
What is the strength of schedule? Whose strength of schedule
So
is
it's
this?
going off of right now they're going off of the preseason, like the coaches poll.
Okay.
So they're looking at who's ranked right now in the top 25. So of course that can change and certainly it probably will. But at the same time, there are teams like a Georgia and a Texas and an LSU that Florida's going to play at Miami.
Yeah.
Now, the Miami's obviously non-conference. That's not an SEC thing. But I just think the SEC needed to mix it up. Like, we have the NFL does that every single year, and they put in tons of different factors into their database, and they're able to come up with a new schedule every single year. Why can't the SEC?
Yeah, what do the other conferences do? Year to year?
Year to year.
So only the SEC does the 2 years?
Yes.
That seems...
It is
and
strange.
I guess they just started it when the conference expanded from 14 teams to 16 teams.
Yeah.
But it just
To
doesn't make
simplify
sense
it to make it easy on themselves, I
guess. But I'm like, you guys have the most resources other than maybe the Big Ten of any conference.
I was asking because I saw a CBS Sports strength of schedule, and they had Gators 4th in the SEC as strength of schedule. So I think that also is depending how you're looking at strength of schedule and whatever,
Yeah.
because they have Vandy as the most difficult in the SEC, and they say Vandy hit the road to face 4 top 15 teams, including national title contenders Texas and Alabama right away. And so they talk about, and then it's Vandy, Mississippi State, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and then Florida at 5 they have in the SEC. So I do think that's why I hate the preseason strength of schedules, because I just think it's so hard to determine. But in that same frame, like the laziness of what it seems of just saying, hey, we're going to create this one schedule and then we're just going to flip it and reverse it and say, there it
Georgia
is.
has still never been to Texas A&M, to College Station, Texas, and played at Texas A&M. Texas A&M joined the conference in 2012. Florida's been out there multiple times. Like the SEC, just come on, man.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I think that if you want to talk, and especially being the only conference doing it that way also doesn't make any sense, because clearly it's manageable to not have to do it that way. If every conference was doing it because they were like, hey, this we've seen this has worked and every conference is doing it, but clearly other conferences has found that doesn't work. But that's also probably why a lot of these Big Ten coaches were also complaining about the way that the SEC schedules certain stuff.
Well, and the strength of schedule, you're right. I mean, it varies almost every year. Not every year, but you look at FSU. One year 13-0, next year 2-10.
Yeah.
So what if 2-10 was the first year, the 2 years that they had? You're not helping them out. Like the NFL tries to help you out. Like you draft early.
If you finish worst in your conference, you play the worst teams.
Right.
If you finish the best, you play the top team.
They try that. But again, and I know they do it, their mindset of it is right. But again, because of all the changes that happen in the off seasons, for example, Washington this last year, Washington was put on a lot of the schedules for teams that weren't supposed to be good, and then it was a playoff team. And so there were a lot of teams last year who had, by the end of the season, when you did the postseason schedule rankings, some of the worst teams in the league played the hardest schedules, and maybe they were the worst teams in the league because they played some of the harder schedules. But I think that I hate preseasons, like strength of schedules. I think you have to wait until like at least a month to really get a good idea in the NFL or college football what type of teams you're playing.
I feel like the poll too, ranking them. You just got to wait and see.
Yeah.
I mean, even though they look good on paper, you never know. A guy can get hurt. Things go wrong. You have a bad game. You never know.
Coaching changes, things like that. Yeah.
Since you mentioned a guy getting hurt, Tom, I saw during our segment with Trent that Dallas Wilson, the stud Florida wide receiver, at least projected to be a stud. He's a freshman. But we saw him in the spring game in person and we're blown away.
Yeah.
He has a lower leg injury. I don't know more than that, but that's what's been reported by all the Florida beat reporters. Certainly hope that he's going to be okay. We just talked about Treyon Webb having to have surgery to repair his hamstring. He could return mid-September, is what Graham Hall reported. I see nothing as far as a timetable for Dallas Wilson. My guess is it happened in practice today, and so they're still evaluating it. But if Florida has to go a season without him, that's going to be it's just a massive blow, because this guy has the great size, great speed, great hands, and certainly I would imagine that DJ Lagway and Dallas Wilson have a great connection, just like DJ Lagway I'm sure has with Trey Wilson and the other guys.
Daggers to the heart, you know what I mean? It's just coaches, players, fans, every media. You just like, oh no, like that's. And we don't know how serious it is, but just any injury. Shoot, we saw when Brian Thomas went down in like minicamp for a split second.
Was like,
the whole place went quiet.
I thought I was going to throw up.
No, right. Yeah. Thank goodness he got right up. But
and I was nervous today when Brian Thomas wasn't out there, and then thankfully Jags PR let us know right away it was an illness, and
they knew. They saw everybody looking around panicking. Yeah. They were like, "Let's calm everybody."
Get a bad corn dog or something. That's sick.
I don't think the NFL these days even serves their guys cornbread. It's all kale and protein and things like that. All right, this time we have one segment to go. Taylor has a clip for us from Jamar Chase, we will play on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
David Lane here, and once again, I'm happy to share news of my success with back and knee surgeries at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Whatever it is that's bothering you, take it from me. Simply set an appointment today at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and let them help you get back to normal life. I'm certainly glad I did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Duck Duck Rooter. We've seen it all. Whatever's blocking your pipes, we'll get it flowing again. Call 904-862-6769 now to schedule your drain cleaning service. That's 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
Like a lot of guys, Jacksonville's Mitch Fandel thought he could get a better deal on his engagement ring at one of those well-known big box corporate jewelry stores at the town center. But then he discovered locally owned Beard's Diamonds.
Beard's had by far the largest selection.
And he couldn't believe the no middleman prices at Beard's.
We were able to afford, it was probably twice the size of what she wanted, stayed within my budget. I wanted to buy her a bigger ring than she wanted to get. Kind of a win-win for everybody.
But the best part, Mitch didn't feel like a number at Beard's. He got personal one-on-one attention with zero pressure.
Some of the other stores that we did go into, they were big corporate chains, so that might have played a factor into us not really getting the service that I was looking for.
Beard's Diamonds, with no commission salespeople and owners who are right here in Jacksonville.
Keeping local dollars in Jacksonville and in the community is great.
Beard's Diamonds.
Anybody that I know, I want them to shop at Beard's. You're going to get a great experience.
At St. John's Town Center.
Hacker here. You know, those of you that have listened to me for years realize that I used to do a lot of different weight loss things, a lot of different things that I tried that just never worked for one reason or the other. And then Awaken 180 Weight Loss came along, and I heard Mike Dempsey and Matt Hayes talking about it, and I thought, you know what the heck? What do I have to lose? I'm going to give it a try. I had low expectations, to be honest, based on previous history, but I learned very quickly that Awaken 180 Weight Loss is the best weight loss program I was ever on. I dropped 19 pounds my first 2 weeks on Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Went on to lose over 100 pounds total. I'm keeping the weight off with the Awaken 180 Weight Loss Maintenance Program. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, without a shadow of a doubt, is the best weight loss program I have ever been on, and the results speak for themselves. If it's time for you to lose some weight like it was for me, go to awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. You can do it. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
When storms start to crop up in the Atlantic or Gulf this time of year, having a solid plan to handle anything that sweeps through the First Coast is very important. That's where American Electrical comes in. Ensure your home's safety and comfort with an American Electrical home generator. As the area's leading home generator dealer and installer, American Electrical can offer you easy installation, simple maintenance, and peace of mind. Schedule an assessment by simply calling the team at American Electrical. They'll walk you through the best generator for your home or business. Log on, american-electrical.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
I saw this clip yesterday circulating social media. Kay Adams, obviously, every offseason, she does her training camp. She goes around to several different training camps around the NFL, and we'll talk to different players, coaches, whatever. And Kay's really good at the interview side of things, yeah. And so she gets a lot of times we'll bring out some fun stuff from the players and coaches. But I saw one. She was at the Bengals camp and she was interviewing Jamar Chase, and it just made me think of it as we were talking about him being that number one fantasy wide receiver. But I do think that I was very confused, so I wanted to let you guys hear it and tell me if I just am not fully understanding or if maybe he misspoke. Because in a way, it kind of seems like he's throwing shade at Joe Burrow, and I really don't think he is. I know Jamar Chase loves Joe Burrow. They have that connection, and they've talked about it a ton. But, RJ, play this clip, and I just want to get your guys' thoughts on this.
I don't know. People game plan against Josh Allen, not against Joe Burrow. They play against his game weapons. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference.
People game plan against Josh Allen, not Joe Burrow. They game plan against his game weapons.
I mean, there obviously is a difference between who Josh Allen's throwing the football to and who Joe Burrow's throwing the football to. But
does that sound like it's like sliding him a little bit?
But it does sound like that to me.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like Josh, I could see, like, when you got to defend Josh Allen, it's run and pass. Like you may have to spy him. I don't think you got to spy Joe Burrow. He does run. He can run. He's an athletic guy. I'm not saying, but he's not like I don't know, maybe with Josh Allen, because of the way he plays the quarterback position, you might have to game plan for him a little bit more than a Joe Burrow who stands in the pocket for the most part. You really got to try to take away his weapons, although he's a great weapon. I mean, he's one of the better QBs in the league. I don't know. I would like, I don't know. I'm sure Joe and him they go way back to LSU days, so
that's what it was
pretty
interesting.
Tight. Yeah,
and so I was going through even the comments because I was trying to figure out exactly did I just misunderstand the way that this was meant to be said?
Right. All right. Well, let's look at it this way. So look at the Bills wide receivers. They're nowhere near Chase.
Yeah, for sure.
Chase, you got to game plan.
Chase and T. Higgins, you got to plan around.
You got to game plan them. So I can see and listen, most wide receivers are cocky. He's like, you don't got to game plan Joe. You got to game plan me, basically. Because he is that good.
But Joe's probably like, hold up, I'm getting you the ball, and I do think that in a sense because a lot of the comments were saying that, okay, well the wide receivers, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins compared to Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir last year. But the difference in the offensive lines, the Bengals had the 31st ranked offensive line last year, and the Bills had one of the better offensive lines last year. The Bills had a better defense. The Bengals had a bottom 5 defense last year. So I'm arguing Joe Burrow right now, but I just think it was more so. It was a weird thing in my opinion, for Jamar Chase to say, because I feel like even if he does feel like, hey, I'm the reason that Joe is Joe, which I don't think it's just Jamar Chase. I think he helps. That's like Justin Jefferson, which is also in that tier of Jamar Chase. And he's had Sam Darnold's, and he could make that comment probably of I make Sam Darnold, but saying you make Joe Burrow, which is the feeling I got.
Maybe Jamar was just really high and he got thrown off by the question. He's like, forget Joe, it's me. You gotta worry about me.
I mean, it would be interesting if a Jaguars wide receiver said that. People don't have to game plan for
against Trevor Lawrence.
They have to game plan
against CJ Stroud, but not Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I think we would take that comment and run with it and be like, oh, there's dissension in the locker room.
But let's just say it came from a player, just from the outside in.
Sure.
Us looking at them. Who are you game planning? Brian Thomas or Trevor? You had to pick. Yeah. Right, you would.
Yeah.
You'd be more concerned about him getting the ball. Now, granted, the quarterback's got to get him the ball, so you got to factor that in. But you would look at it that way right now. I think most people
Brian would ever say that. Yeah. I think Brian would say they have to game plan.
But it depends how high he was. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. But maybe not.
Everybody would be up in arms around the league. They'd be like, "Oh my gosh!" It's Brian Thomas Jr. is saying Trevor Lawrence isn't a good quarterback. Is what that would turn into.
You're right that he probably wouldn't say it because he hasn't said anything about Travis Hunter. He could. He could be like, "Hey, man, I know the kid's great and all, but I kicked butt last year, so you know what you get out of me. I'm the number one guy." But he doesn't do that, so he's probably more humble than Jamar. But, look, as we all know, sometimes you get these questions and you throw out, you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't think he meant too much by it.
I don't think so either. Someone quote tweeted and was like, and they were putting this in there as saying this is how they took it. And they said Joe Burrow is not a game changer. He's a game manager. And that's what someone said they took that as. And I was like, I just don't see Jamar Chase saying that about Joe Burrow.
You can't say he's a game manager with the way he played last year and their team sucked
no way. With everything around him other than
that.
Jamar and T. Higgins.
All right, we talked fantasy football earlier. Here's one of those experts now.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnik. Nimnik Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnik Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hayes, you're going to win this year's 1010XL Dynasty League.
Because I'm going to have De'Ami Brown. It should be fun. That was a great idea that Trent had, great project, and it was fun contributing to it. And hopefully people enjoyed it.
How much does your son Jackson play fantasy?
He's in a couple leagues.
Okay.
Yeah, he's really starting to. He just turned 15, and it's been really cool seeing him really become a sports fan in the last couple of years. And but he enjoys fantasy football, and I'm not in a league with him, But,
okay.
Yeah, so we've done a nice job of keeping that separate because we're competitors.
Sure.
And I will rob him blind in a trade if I can. So we're not in the same league.
Yeah, who you starting this week? None of your business.
Right. I can't tell you that.
Is he still a Saints fan? I know he was.
He
is.
Yeah.
As a quarterback.
Yeah, he's still a Saints fan. I think he's in for a long year. He sort of has become more like hoping. I think he actually is hoping DJ Lagway ends up a Saint in like 2 years. So I think he's hoping that maybe the Saints can do decent enough this year that they don't really land one of the top quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And
then suck next
and then
year.
Suck in 20, whatever that would be,
He
26.
didn't get his
and
Tyler.
get DJ Lagway. He's a huge Gators fan and number one. But he does like the Saints. He was it goes back to, I want to say the first Sunday night football game that he ever watched with me must have been a Saints game, because from just a really early age, he loved Drew Brees and loved watching him play. And I mean, Brees has been out of the league for 5 years. So Jackson was 10 in his final year, but something stuck. And so we'll see. Maybe DJ Flores never had the number one pick in the draft ever. So maybe DJ Lagway can.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, could be the first one. And I would like to hope for 3 years from now. But I'm thinking it'll probably just be 2 before.
He does not have his Tyler Shuck jersey yet.
He does not. He's not a big believer. He's not a big believer in the Saints. So we'll see what they end up doing. But yeah, we'll have a fun Frangie show coming up. Brett Hastings will join us for Sports and Courts. And I had a chance to catch up with offensive lineman Patrick McCary. Still trying to get used to that, McCary. But it was fun catching up to him. I hadn't really. I think I talked to Patrick maybe in OTAs, but it was fun catching up with him. Obviously, a new player. And he's trying to ramp it back up. Still not doing one-on-ones in team, but is out there practicing. And, big things are expected if you look at the contract. So he will be somewhere in that 5, whether it's right guard or somewhere else. He's played all over in Baltimore. So should be fun. Fun Frangie show coming up.
All right, thanks, Hayes. We'll be listening for sure. Yeah, Patrick McCary. That's a really interesting conversation for sure, as far as where he ends up.
Yeah, listen, I agree with Hayes. I think he'll end up being one of the 5 offensive linemen. And again, we saw him outside at tackle a little bit, so we'll see if it continues.
Yeah, Saturday night as well.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for us today. For Taylor Dahl, for Tom McManus, for RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. Thanks again to Trent Osborne for joining us, and we look forward to catching up with Brooke Pryor on Friday. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you on Friday. No show tomorrow, but don't go anywhere. The Frangie Show is next, right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.